This video will continue to guide you in reporting for Target C, which is to reduce direct disaster economic loss in relation to global gross domestic product by 2030. Refer to the video Target C Part 1 for an introduction to the target and reporting for Indicator C2. Indicator C3 is the direct economic loss to all other damaged or destroyed productive assets attributed to disasters. Examples of assets that are the basis of calculating C3 include commercial and governmental buildings, transport equipment, business assets and industrial plants, production infrastructure such as factories, hotels, among others. To begin reporting for C3, select your data entry option. Option 1 is only suitable if you have data on physical damage as well as the monetary value of direct economic loss. If you choose option 1, enter the monetary value in your local currency unit, or LCU, and the system will convert this to US dollars based on the exchange rate entered in the metadata. Choose option 2 for the system to calculate the monetary value based on the data on physical damage that you input for this indicator. Refer to the TGNs for more information on definitions or calculations of direct economic loss. Productive assets can be disaggregated by economic sector and size. Your country coordinator should add disaggregation categories for C3 under Disaggregation Metadata, Productive Assets. The minimum disaggregation recommended is to report data according to different types of assets in all economic sectors, including services. For example, hotel would be chosen for a category to enter loss data as minimum disaggregation. However, it is recommended that you consider additional disaggregation like size of hotels, as well as whether they were damaged or fully destroyed assets reported under C3. Ideally, the disaggregation should add up to the total assets inputted into this box, but the disaggregation can be used to track a select number of sectors or productive assets. Please note that agricultural productive assets must be reported under C2LA. C4 is the direct economic loss in the housing sector. For this indicator, you can choose to use the number of damaged or destroyed dwellings from indicators B3A and B4A, and the monetary value to be calculated by the system. If you choose this option, this box will populate automatically based on the values you had entered for B3 and B4. You can choose to disaggregate by criteria such as size of house, urban or rural, material like wood, cardboard, masonry, among others. C5 is direct economic loss resulting from damaged or destroyed critical infrastructure. You can decide which critical infrastructure to be included in the calculation. Examples of infrastructure include health facilities, education facilities, transport, energy, water, sewerage, telecommunications, protective infrastructure, and green infrastructure. It is important that you describe disaggregation of critical infrastructure under Disaggregation Metadata. For health and education facilities, the disaggregation will be under D2 and D3, as the same disaggregation is used for Target D. Continue to describe disaggregation for other critical infrastructure here. You can choose to disaggregate by criteria like size of the infrastructure or other characteristics. For example, roads can be disaggregated by whether they are paved or the number of lanes. Once the disaggregation is set up, the categories will show for health facilities, education facilities, and other critical infrastructure. If the proper economic valuation of direct loss is available, select option 1 and enter the associated monetary value for each infrastructure type you have selected here. Otherwise, select option 2 to have the system calculate the monetary value for the total number of damaged and destroyed facilities or other units of infrastructure you input here. If you recall back to Target B, you may have selected the option for the system to automatically calculate indicator B5 on the number of people whose livelihoods were disrupted or destroyed. Completing data entry for C2, C3, and C5 will allow the system to calculate B5. C6 is the direct economic loss to cultural heritage damaged or destroyed. Cultural heritage assets are divided into two groups: non-movable assets, which consist of buildings, monuments, and fixed infrastructure like the Angkor Wat or the Taj Mahal, and movable assets, which consist of art and historical artifacts like the Mona Lisa. Start by entering the number of damaged or destroyed non-movable assets for C6A. For example, if the Sydney Opera House had been destroyed, then you would enter 1 here, as one building had been destroyed. If several buildings within the complex Angkor Wat had been damaged, then the number of buildings damaged would be entered. For C6B, enter the number of damaged movable assets. For example, if the Mona Lisa painting had been damaged, then the number 1 would be entered here. For C6C, enter the number of destroyed movable assets. If the Mona Lisa painting had been destroyed, then the number 1 would be entered here. For C6D, enter the cost of rehabilitation or reconstruction for all damaged or destroyed cultural buildings inputted into C6A. For C6E, enter how much it would cost to repair damaged artwork and other mobile cultural objects such as the Mona Lisa painting. Finally, C6F is the acquisition or replacement cost for mobile cultural assets destroyed and listed in C6B. This is how much it would cost to replace the damaged or destroyed movable assets. The term acquisition cost may be misleading because the value of artwork or historical artifacts increases with time. It is best to consider this indicator as how much the damaged or destroyed asset will cost to replace, and the insurance value may be the best measure. If only a portion of the asset can be insured, but the monetary value is known, input this value here. Some artifacts may be considered priceless, for example, the crown jewels of England. In this case, it is best to list the insured value or best estimated value.